So, yeah, no would be the thing you would be saying if you're a Liverpool fan. You'll be cheering if you're a Wolves fan. Getting the winner at the end of this. Wins have not come easily to Wolves at the bottom of the table right now. But doesn't that just tell you how things have been for Liverpool this season? What a damaging defeat that is against the side that are bottom of the table in the Premier League. Here's how things are looking at the top half of the table. Liverpool in 5th outside the top 4. And that's after 29 games played, as we welcome in Frank Leboeuf to talk more about this. And we will hear from Frank in just a moment. But first of all, Stevie, we've got to get your reaction on that.
I mean, the first half was pretty forgettable. Second half, the positive thing I would say is that there's no question Liverpool went for the game, dominated the ball. But dominating the ball and doing something with it and creating chances and scoring goals are two different things. And today, they did neither of those things, really. I said in the highlights there, the final pass, the final decision was horrible. And when you are defending champions and when you are trying to get in the Champions League, going forward, putting the opposition under pressure away from home, dominating the play, isn't enough. You have to take the other step and create clear chances and score goals, particularly against a team who are bottom of the league and who are going down. And it's not acceptable to lose in the way they did to Wolves. Wolves had 2 shots on goal. They scored 2 goals. So not only talking about going forward, where in the final third, the final decision, the final pass was just horrible. And the one we showed in the highlight with Salah, although he scored a goal, the goalie should have saved it. And he really didn't contribute anything again all evening. I could say you for the next 10 minutes and tell you everything that went wrong for Liverpool. But it's actually just... tonight's a microcosm of what's been happening all season. Poor decision making, not creating enough, front players not doing enough, front three done pretty much nothing much tonight at all. And then defensively you lose 2 goals from a team that has 2 shots. So it's just another game in the season that Liverpool are having that has turned out the same.
What's your biggest concern from what you saw from Liverpool tonight, though?
My biggest concern is that it doesn't matter who Liverpool play against. They can lose. That you know, it's one thing to talk about big games in a season, playing Man United or Man City or Arsenal, or in Champions League, playing Real Madrid and Barcelona. But when your team is stepping on the field, regardless of the opposition, and you are not sure what you're going to get, that's not what's acceptable at a club like Liverpool. It's not acceptable.
The most 90th minute goals conceded in Premier League history for Liverpool right now, after today.
Again, it's not a surprise. It's been happening all season. And initially, at the start of the season, we thought, okay, they'll sort it out, it'll calm down, but it hasn't. You know, they've continued to, as a unit, not be effective. They've continued to give sloppy goals away, like today. And again, back to what I said 30 seconds ago, it really doesn't matter who the opposition are. Everybody that plays against Liverpool knows they're going to get a chance and knows that they're probably going to score.
Even the team that had only won 2 in the Premier League.
Even the team that had only won 2 all season.
Yeah.
All season.
I wish people at home, or those listening to the podcast, could feel this disappointment emanating from Stevie right now. It's a frustration,
yeah, sure is,
mixed with acceptance that, well, this is just who we are. And it's such a difficult place to be given the success of this very same team last season. It's hard to explain on a weekly basis, as Stevie has to do, why things continue to go wrong. But if you just watch this game today in particular, and you didn't know about their struggles over the course of the season, it would be easy to understand why they have been so inconsistent. Their inability to complete passes with precision in the final third, their inability to move ahead of the ball, and once they get into tight areas, that those quick combinations actually amount to anything productive. Their inability to make the correct decision when they're isolated in 1v1 situations in wide areas. Take somebody on, please. Somebody get the ball and get after a defender. And it just doesn't happen. They turn away from it and they pass the ball backwards. And then how vulnerable they are to one or two passes being completed out of pressure by the opposing team, and now Liverpool are depending on Konate or Van Dijk or somebody with a sliding challenge filled with desperation to try to salvage something. This team is far, and I don't have to say this to Steve because he knows it, it's far from what the expectations were coming into the season. And now that the expectations have changed dramatically, they're still far from where they need to be in order to somehow salvage a season that seems otherwise lost.
How damaging is this result for Liverpool tonight, Frank?
Well, I guess big time. And if there is an acceptance from Stevie, I mean, in a neutral point of view, you say, what? They are fighting for a spot in the Champions League? This team, that you don't see the difference between them and the last team in the league? That's appalling. Comparing to what we saw last season, comparing to even what we saw at the beginning of the season, where they were scoring goals last second every games and winning and getting points. But I don't recognize some players, and I don't know if it's if we can talk about professionalism, but they don't have the guts that they had before. I mean, the goal they conceded, the first goal, Van Dijk, who is named one of the best defenders in the world. I mean, I've been moved, pushed like so easy. I could have done that as a bad defender that I was, because I wasn't the best defender in the world. I had all the tools, but not a person like Van Dijk. I don't understand that. What's wrong with him? But what's wrong with McAllister? What's wrong with Gravenberch? I don't even talk about Mo Salah. He scored a goal today, but you showed the last part that he should have given to, I forgot who he was, maybe Szoboszlai, but that was insane. That was insane, you know. That's so easy, and that guy knows how to do it. And he was late. He was late on giving the pass, and everything was bad. Was slow in the first half. Was a little bit better in the second half. But the spirit, the stamina, nothing showed up. And it's not the spirit of Liverpool. Liverpool, and it's why I think Stevie is quite upset about the situation. He knows the spirit of that club. He knows how it works, and that spirit disappeared in like 10 months.
What's your reaction to what Frank's just said, Stevie?
Can't disagree with a word. I can't disagree with a word. It really is. Compared to what we were talking about this time last year, it's unrecognisable. It's unrecognisable. Listen, there's after you win the title, it's always harder the second year. It's always harder. And very rarely do teams win it twice in a row. But to drop off so badly is a complete and utter head scratcher. And yes, they've made changes. And the supposedly changes were, my goodness, we were talking about who's going to challenge this team before the ball was kicked. Oh my goodness. Now listen to us. We're talking about they might not get in the Champions League spots. So it really, for me, it depends on Chelsea. If Chelsea continue to do what Liverpool are doing, then we'll have a little race for the fifth spot. That's not the goals of Liverpool Football Club, to have a race for fifth.
I think by now, Stevie has gone through the threshold of being angry, and how now it reminds me when my mom used to get angry with me, and when she said, I'm not angry, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I think it might have got to the indifference point.
Yes, it's like, you know, it's not even anger anymore, because you can only get angry so many times. Now it's just like, well, this is who we are. This is what this team is. And so it really, you're wasting your time if you're getting angry about this. But it's just continued disappointment, continued frustration, because this team at no point does it seem like they're going to get consistent.
On a fifth game that's been lost after the 90th minute, another tough one to take. How do you sum it up?
Another?
Tough game.
Yeah.
To take.
How do I sum this up? Same old story. Recently, we are picking up points because we've scored many times from set pieces. But what did not change in the last 5, 6, 7 games is that we struggle and find it very hard to score from the open play chances that we do create. Not as much as I would like from all the ball possession we have, but enough and far more than the other team. But end result, we score 1. And they score 2, and indeed another time in extra time. So it sums up our season again in this game as well.
With all these extra time goals, you say it sums up the season. Is it committing too many men forward to try and win the game, or is it game management, or in today's a deflection? Is it unlucky? How do you see it?
No, what I mean with it sums up the season is that we've had far more ball possession than the other team. We've created more open play and in general chances than the other team, but from open play we struggled to score. Recently we've scored a lot from set pieces. Today again we had a lot of set pieces. First half very poor taken, as we didn't play. A bit similar to how we played. I don't think we played a very good first half. Second half was better, still not great, but better. Created more. And in extra time, or just before extra time, I think we were twice very close from chances to score the 2-1. Mo, who was dribbling and had on the left and the right 2 players open, but the ball was intercepted by the defender, and the Virgil header. Yeah, those are chances, and the one we concede is not even a chance. And that is what has happened so many times to us this season. So that it happens in extra time might be a coincidence, maybe, although it happens so many times. But we hardly give away a chance. Today we gave away 1 chance, but conceded 2.
Arne, you used the word same old story. Virgil in his post-match interview used slow and predictable. What was it about tonight that you weren't able to break down Wolves' defence?
Why?
Yeah, what was it about their defence?
Now, well done by Wolves. They made it really hard for us, compact, and in the first half, I think, and it's also what I showed them at halftime and told them that it was possible to play a bit faster from side to side, and if you play a bit faster, then the few times that we did in the first half, our wingers at least have some time to take their fullback on. I think that happened the second half better than the first half. That's why we also came closer and closer, had more crosses, or I've penetrated more in the box than we did in the first half. But then it's also a finishing off those moments and pick the right player in front of goal when you arrive. Now, so slow or predictable are words that I can understand he uses, but if you want to go faster, you have to be able to dominate situations on the sides, because then something can happen, and we struggled to dominate on the sides today.
When you drop points against a side like Wolves, does it change your expectations for this season at all?
No, my expectations have changed throughout the season because I expected more from us than where we are fighting for now. But it's another setback, and we didn't help ourselves with this result, not at all. But there are still nine games, I think. 9 games to play. Eight games to play. So we're coming closer and closer to the end, and then dropping points in a game where it's absolutely not necessary. If you look at the run of play, it wasn't that we played so great. I'm not saying that, but if we play this game in this fashion 10 times, I don't think we will lose 10 times. It's far from sure that we win every time, because therefore we were not good enough. If we don't want to rely on a deflected shot, we need to do better. We have to play better. But we've had enough chances to win the game. But credits to Wolves as well. They fight from first second till the end, and got maybe a little bit of luck what they deserved if you look at how much they put in throughout the whole game.
The last goal on it, is that unlucky or did you do things wrong in the build-up to it?
If I remember it correctly, I think we won the ball back by Curtis Jones. He played it back to Ali, who then cleared it somewhere 30, 35 yards away from our goal, I think. And I don't know the name of the player who took the ball, but I think he also dribbled forward and scored the goal. What do we do wrong in that situation? Yeah, maybe if we could do it one more time over, maybe Curtis clears the ball himself. Ali kicks it to the side instead of through the middle. Yeah, you can always do things different. But a deflected shot, who deflected it? I don't know actually.
Joe Gomez.
And Joe, okay. So I have to see then how he puts his body in front of the ball, if he could do anything about that or not, or it was just bad luck. But it's not the first time a ball goes in from a deflected shot. I think it was Sunderland at home as well when it happened.
Arsenal's internal shakeup continues, and the latest departure signals that the restructuring behind the scenes is far from over. James Ellis has stepped down from his role as technical director just 7 months after being promoted. According to BBC Sport, Ellis, who only took on the position last August after serving as head of recruitment, has now left the club amid what appears to be a wider internal overhaul. His exit doesn't come in isolation. In December, Arsenal appointed former Napoli executive Maurizio Micheli to a senior recruitment role, a move widely seen as part of the club's long-term structural reset. Just months earlier, Andrea Berta had been confirmed as sporting director, effectively replacing Edu Gaspar. That appointment alone signaled a new era. Now, with Ellis gone, the transformation feels even more deliberate. Ellis joins Edu and former CEO Vini Venkatesham among high-profile departures from the Emirates hierarchy. Both Edu and Venkatesham moved on to new roles, Edu taking on a global director of football position at Nottingham Forest, and Venkatesham joining Tottenham. However, neither situation appears entirely stable. Edu's time at the City Ground has reportedly been turbulent. Nottingham Forest's dramatic drop in form since his arrival has raised serious questions about the project's direction, and indications suggest his tenure there may not last much longer. Meanwhile, at Tottenham, Venkatesham has come under intense scrutiny from Spurs supporters, particularly for his initial backing and continued support of Thomas Frank, even as results and performances deteriorated from December onward. Eventually, Igor Tudor was appointed interim manager, and his first match in charge came in the most demanding fixture possible, the North London derby against Arsenal. Despite having just 7 days in the job, the 47-year-old Tudor understands the magnitude of the occasion and the adversity he's facing. "We trained with 13 players," Tudor admitted. "That's the reality. It's not ideal, but in moments like this, the challenge becomes even greater. And so does the opportunity to succeed." He added confidently, "We will have 13 players ready, and that's more than enough to achieve what we want on Sunday. I understand the importance of this match. It's a North London derby. Everyone expects 3 points from us. We are aware of that." Arsenal, however, arrive at the derby carrying frustration of their own. Consecutive draws against Wolves and Brentford have slowed their momentum, and Mikel Arteta made it clear there could not be a better fixture to respond. "It's the next game, and it's the one we're most excited to play," Arteta said. "If we could play today, we would. We have to use that feeling in our stomach the right way, and show it on Sunday." There are also selection decisions looming. Despite Eberechi Eze scoring 3 times in the reverse fixture, his place in midfield is no longer guaranteed. Competition has intensified, particularly after positive fitness updates on Kai Havertz and Martin Odegaard, both capable of operating in similar roles. "We'll have to wait until tomorrow," Arteta said cautiously. "But there's a strong possibility that both of them will be available." With tension rising both on and off the pitch, this derby feels bigger than usual. Arsenal are reshaping their leadership structure. Tottenham are battling instability, and both clubs are searching for momentum at a crucial stage of the season. Sunday won't just be about 3 points. It's about direction, identity, and control in North London. The broader picture, however, stretches beyond one derby or one boardroom exit. What is unfolding at Arsenal is a defining phase, a moment where structural decisions off the pitch could shape the club's competitiveness for years to come. The departure of James Ellis raises natural questions about continuity and recruitment strategy. Arsenal have invested heavily in building a data-driven, modern scouting network over the past few seasons. Under Mikel Arteta's leadership, recruitment has largely aligned with a clear footballing identity: younger profiles, tactical intelligence, technical security, and long-term resale value. Now, with Maurizio Micheli and Andrea Berta positioned as key figures, the club appears to be centralizing authority even further. For supporters, the concern isn't necessarily change, it's instability. Frequent turnover at executive level can create uncertainty during crucial transfer windows. With the summer approaching and expectations growing after consecutive near-title pushes, Arsenal cannot afford missteps in squad planning. Rivals are strengthening. Margins are thin. Every decision matters. On the pitch, the North London derby carries added psychological weight. Arsenal's recent draws against Wolves and Brentford weren't just dropped points. They dented momentum at a critical juncture of the season. Title races are often defined by response, how quickly a team reacts after disappointment. Arteta understands that narrative. Privately, there is belief within the squad that performances have not dipped as sharply as results suggest. Arsenal have maintained strong possession metrics, defensive structure, and chance creation numbers in recent matches. The issue has been efficiency, converting control into decisive moments. Against Tottenham, that margin for waste disappears. For Spurs, the situation feels even more volatile. Igor Tudor's interim appointment reflects urgency rather than long-term planning. Training sessions with limited numbers underline the squad's injury struggles, and depth will be tested against one of the league's most organized sides. Yet derby matches rarely follow logic. Emotional intensity often overrides tactical predictability. Another layer to the story is the competitive landscape at the top of the table. With Manchester City and Liverpool maintaining relentless standards, any slip can reshape the standings instantly. Arsenal know that draws at this stage can feel as damaging as defeats. The pressure is no longer about proving progress. It's about delivering silverware. Internally, Arteta's message has reportedly been direct: block out external noise. The boardroom reshuffle, media speculation, and scrutiny around player selection cannot bleed into matchday focus. Leadership inside the dressing room, particularly from senior figures, becomes crucial in moments like this. There is also anticipation around the possible return of Kai Havertz and Martin Odegaard. Their availability would not only boost tactical flexibility, but also restore leadership and composure in key phases of play. If both are fit, Arteta faces a selection dilemma, but one he would welcome. In North London, perception shifts quickly. One result can calm doubts or intensify them. A victory would reassert Arsenal's authority, silence questions about momentum, and reinforce belief in the current project despite executive turnover. A setback, however, would amplify concerns about consistency at the worst possible time. Ultimately, this is a convergence of narratives: structural change, title ambition, squad depth challenges, and historic rivalry. The derby will not define the entire season, but it will send a message. And right now, both clubs are desperate to control that message.